It's time to mind your business with me, Jamillah Lodge. Tune in to find out how to mind your business with BEDC, special guest entrepreneurs, industry experts, and more. Brought to you by BEDC. Bermuda Business starts here. Welcome to Mind Your Business. I am your host, Jamillah Lodge, and I'm so pleased to have you here, Andrea Fubler, and your owner of Salt Cedar.
Yes.
So before we get started talking about your entrepreneurial journey, if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. First of all, I'm very excited to be here. I always catch the end of Mind Your Business on Thursday afternoons, and I love it.
Good.
So I'm actually Canadian. I grew up in Canada, but I met my husband, who's Bermudian, a long time ago in university. And I've been living in Bermuda for 18 years now, and I have a 7-year-old daughter. So I started at Salt Cedar about 7 years ago, actually, when I was pregnant with my daughter.
So what made you decide to do it?
Well, okay, so to be honest, when I worked for Calypso for about 10 years as a buyer there, and I had the privilege of doing a lot of international traveling, and I visited New York and Miami a lot, and then Canada to see my family, and I started noticing this trend of like cleaner ingredients in skincare, and it kind of got me thinking, what was I actually putting on my body? Then when I left Calypso, I finished my dream of becoming a holistic nutritionist. I was always really interested in dietetics and nutrition. And so I got deeper into that, and, I was eating super healthy, and then I got pregnant, and I was thinking even more about the lotions and the things, that I was using to clean my home with. And then I thought, I was looking around Bermuda, there didn't seem to be anything on the market at the time. So I got a little inkling to start this clean beauty and skincare business. And so I started online only with just a few brands. Everything was stored in my closet. I already had a bit of a online presence with some nutrition clients that I had, and I already had a tiny email list built. So I kind of used those clients and customers, because I was writing blog posts and nutrition blog posts and things. And kind of transitioned out of that into this online skincare business. So that's how I got started.
So, you work for Calypso, so that's retail, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
But with regard to like the online portion, what was that journey like? Like, did you already know? Did you have support? Did you know what you needed to do?
That was a journey. At the time, so just it's amazing what's happened in 7 years as far as that like online presence goes. A lot of it was pushed from COVID, where people started to go online. But 7 years ago in Bermuda, there were very few online shopping websites. My husband thought I was a little bit crazy for trying this, but I thought, it's hard to get started and pay rent somewhere and all the overhead.
For sure.
So I saw a couple of stores in Canada that I was kind of focused on their online presence, and you need to be able to take what's already done.
Yeah, you don't have to reinvent the wheel, right?
Exactly. So, I peeked at a few websites and tried to figure it out, did a ton of like YouTube learning, Googling.
YouTube
I built my own Shopify website from the ground up. And then there were a lot of challenges with figuring out how the money was going to get into my bank account.
Yes.
That was very much different than it is now as well. So no, it was a constant learning process. It took a few months to get the website up and running. But I had I already sort of knew how to get freight here, that sort of thing. But the website was fun.
Yeah.
And since then, we've had a couple makeovers, of course.
Yeah, of course, as you need to. So, but you have a brick and mortar store now.
Yes.
So what made you decide to transition? Well, you still have the website, but to include brick and mortar as part of your business model?
I just think as far as growth went, we wouldn't be able to do the sales online only. You need some presence, some brick and mortar presence. It's a very important part of the business, and my website is definitely still very important, and it builds trust and awareness. People love looking and reading thoroughly about the products and the ingredients and seeing the prices. But a lot of people do come into the store, and I think it's important to sort of have that location that's a feel good. You can feel the products. Feel, you can smell the products. It's a nice place if you want to buy gifts for people. You know, just like a relaxing space that we try to offer that nice customer service as well. So I think you can, I mean, I hate to say you can only go so far with an online presence, but I feel like it does sort of limit you in the small area of Bermuda.
So I want to talk a little bit about how you identify the products that should be in the store, right? Because like these are people sell all kind of products and they say, oh yeah, it's good for you, it has all natural, but how do you make sure or ensure that what you are selling meets your standards and aligns with your vision and mission?
Yeah, you do have to vet some of these vendors and some of these merchants and look further than just the word natural and organic, because I think we've probably all heard the term greenwashing lately.
Yes.
So you do have to dig a bit deeper. At this point in my journey, I do have lots of vendors that I 100% trust. Know every new product that comes out is amazing. I can trust them that their products are clean, sustainable, effective, which is also a huge piece of the puzzle. But I do, when I'm looking for new brands, you know, I sort of talk to them for quite a while before, look up all the ingredients I'm not sure about on the Environmental Working Group website. I also use... I don't know if you've heard of the brand Paula's Choice, but I'm not able to get it in Bermuda, so don't get mad at me. But I'm not able to. Okay. But they have this amazing website where I can look up every single ingredient.
Wow.
And just how it works for the skin, how clean it is. So I do a lot of research before I bring the product in, for sure.
So it's interesting to me because from a retail perspective, sometimes people are focused on price. And it seems to me that it's changing. Like people are very conscious, like you became conscious, like when you got pregnant, of what you're consuming, what you're putting on your skin, and they're willing to pay more if necessary to get something that doesn't have all of these additives and, you know, things in that aren't good for you. It's good for the product because it'll last forever.
Right.
But what's it doing to you when you put it on your face? Yeah. And so I just think that that's interesting. Have you found that to be the case in Bermuda?
Yes, I have. I have a very loyal client base. And I think that they are very aware of what they're using. They also like supporting small business, plus also the small businesses that I support. So it's like a chain effect, right?
Oh, nice.
So, I mean, you can get extremely expensive lotions and potions at other retailers as well. But they don't. They often have a lot of fillers and not as much of the effective ingredients. So I think people are changing their views, and they are researching where they're buying from, who they're buying from, and what they're buying, for sure.
So when you got your license as a nutritionist, right?
Yeah, holistic nutritionist.
Holistic nutritionist, and then you started a blog.
I did.
So I guess my question is around how do you cultivate that client base that is so loyal to you like that? Like, what is it that you're doing that keeps them coming back?
I think it's honesty. So a lot of just talking to, you know, my customers as we are friends. You know, I know where their kids go to school and when their last vacation was, and just like creating a rapport. I think that you know, I think of them when I'm buying products for the store and when products come in. Yeah. And I think they think of me and supporting me. So it's kind of like you know, it's just a nice relationship.
It's like almost like personal shopping and be like, I got that thing for you. You need to try that.
Exactly.
Well, I know that it feels good. You know what I mean? Right. To know that someone is thinking of you and understands maybe whatever the challenge is that you may be experiencing. So when you're going out and buying or identifying products, it's like, oh, I know that she's thinking about me. Oh, that's really
I'm
nice.
often one of the first people that knows when people are pregnant because they're like, shh, don't tell anybody, Andrea. But
What can I use that's not
exactly.
going to mess what's going on? That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I want to talk to you about that you mentioned is how you support other entrepreneurs. Talk to me a little bit about that. I know we speak about collaboration and competition. It's like, oh, sometimes in Bermuda, because we're so small, it's like people, well, no. These are my clients. Don't talk to them. I got this covered. Yeah. So what is your opinion of collaboration and competition? And can you share some examples of how you do collaborate and support others?
Yeah, for sure. I listen to quite a few business podcasts, and there's one that I listen to, and the host, she always says, community over competition, and so that's always in the back of my mind. I have quite a few small business owner friends that aren't always in the same space as me, but we talk a lot about sales and ideas and what's going on in the marketplace. And I'm very lucky to have Kristen next door from me at Mod Blue. So,
yes.
It's a great relationship, collaboration, partnership, just someone to bounce ideas off so you don't feel like you're all alone in the world here. Right. But I do think that the more small business we have in Bermuda, the better it is, because the more variety that you can offer your local customers means they're not going to go on Amazon and ship in deodorant.
Right.
So I think it's very important to foster relationships with the local businesses and keep them all thriving.
Yeah.
Right? It's so important.
It is, because, when you look at Front Street and you see these empty buildings and you're thinking, like, what's going to happen? Like, people are still coming here. Right. People still want to buy things and they want to shop. But if there are no things to buy, then what does that mean for Bermuda and for the future of retail in Bermuda specifically,
Exactly.
So when you talk about collaborate, so the products that are in your store now, are they exclusively international? Do you have a kind of mix of local and international products?
Okay, so I do import a lot of products from Canada, the States. I have some UK brands, some Australian brands.
Okay.
But I do carry some local brands as well, and I have a little section on my website as well, like Bermuda Business.
Nice.
So currently I'm carrying the Best Period cups.
Okay.
I'm carrying SC Skincare from Shalia Quadrington. And I think she was on.
Yeah, she was.
I caught the end of it, yeah. I'm carrying Le Petite Soirée, her journals.
Okay.
What else? I've got a few little odds and ends. Oh, Ashe Vita skincare. So we've got a few things. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I personally think it's nice. And I don't know, was that, did you do that on purpose, or did it just happen kind of organically? Or was it like, I want to make sure that I have some representation from local products that I stand behind? Yeah. What was your thought process?
A mix of both. I'm trying to remember. I can't remember who reached out to who for these sort of things, but I think probably Avery Graham with her greeting cards. We connected on that. I do well with those in the Pixie Grotto. I think some of the people might have reached out to me, and I can't remember, but I think it is important.
Okay.
And a lot of the, like Ashe Vita and SC Skincare, they don't have a bricks and mortar.
Right.
So it's a place where they can send people to try the products. I also sell a lot of these things to tourists.
Oh, right. Yeah.
The Lily Bermuda, when she left the store next door in the Butterfield building, people just kept coming to me in droves about Lily Bermuda. So I carry her line now. Okay. And she's got a sustainability aspect to it as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a little bit of, I think it is important to carry some Bermuda products as well.
I do too. And I think that if their products can sit alongside some of these larger international brands and people still receive them and come back looking for them, it helps them too. So it's like this full circle kind of, you know what I mean? So it's like you're creating a space to showcase their products, and then it also gives them an opportunity to grow and learn and network. So I love it.
More collaboration.
Yes. So how would you say your customers' feedback has influenced the evolution of Salt and Cedar?
Yeah, I mean, it is a big part of it. It's a whole, you can't take one one customer's feedback who wants something obscure that, only that customer is going to buy. But for sure, I listen to my customers, and it's been a part of the evolution since the get-go. And if enough people ask for something different that I don't carry, maybe I should. Or they mention brands that they get abroad that they can't get here. So it is definitely a customer collaboration as well.
Yeah. And going back to what you said about you get to know your customers, and so you shop with them in mind. Exactly. So I would imagine that goes hand in hand with that kind of feedback. They're telling you, that thing you bought, not so much.
Yeah, exactly.
So maybe we can try something else. So let's switch gears a bit and talk a little bit about, because 7 years in the retail in Bermuda, like that's a big deal, right? And so what do you say your secret sauce is, or what is it that you do that is helping you to sustain yourself here in Bermuda?
Oh, the secret sauce. I wish I knew it. It's like, I don't know, it's like a soup, a little this, a little that. I think, having a learning mindset, an open mindset, if you think of how things have changed so much in those 7 years, it used to be you posted a picture on Facebook, then it was Instagram came along, Twitter came along. Now it's Reels. So it's adapting, it's being creative, it's trying, it's evolving along with the industry, and people like new creative things. I launched an advent calendar for Christmas for the first year, and that was really well received. So it's just, these things are not easy to put together, right? But it's just kind of, I think keeping it fresh is important. Keeping it fresh is important, but then also you want to make sure that you have the things that people come to you for as well. So I don't know what the secret sauce is, but I think it's just always learning, honestly. Honestly, it is. Yeah. And being open and trustworthy and taking it all in.
Right. And I think that's important. Like you mentioned, Mob Blue, you guys can work together and connect. And
you never want to feel alone. It can feel lonely, I think, if you don't have some people to bounce ideas off of. Yeah. I'm really lucky to have an amazing employee that's been with me for quite a while, and she's my sounding board. And we collaborate and talk about new ideas and old ideas, and it's so having different eyes on the business is also important.
I would say, it can sometimes make or break it. I know people talk about challenges with employees and finding the right person, because it's not always that the person that works for you shares your vision or mission. And so if you can find someone that does, I'm sure it makes it a lot easier for you. Does. You're like, I don't have to do everything. I can release some of that. Exactly. So what would you say are your future plans for Salt Cedar? Like, how do you envision it growing?
Well, being in Bermuda, I don't think I'll be opening up like 6 more locations. Unfortunately, or franchising. But I think, I'm kind of happy where I am, and I'm really happy with my physical location on Front Street. The website, it will always be evolving. So it's just about kind of honing in on new brands and keeping it fresh and making sure your customers are happy. Yeah. So just kind of, steady and...
Steady.
I don't know what the word is.
Steady and different. Right. And listen to your customers.
Right. Stable. Trying to keep it stable and steady and fresh and fun.
Yes.
Yeah, all the things.
One of the things I want to ask you about is the name. I love the name. Like, how did you come up with that?
So I wanted to have like a representation of what I thought Bermuda was from the ocean and the land. Yes. So I played around with it for a while, and that's what I came up with. The salt from the ocean, the cedar trees, and I liked it together, and yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Have you ever considered doing bespoke, or maybe you do it already, Salt and Cedar products.
I have definitely thought about it.
Or collabs with other, you know what I mean?
Definitely, and I've gone through a few sort of first runs of things, but I haven't taken it to the next level, and I need to. It's definitely on my list of things I want to do.
Yeah, like in my mind, I'm thinking about the young lady that makes the candles. She has and I'm like, that I could see that easily, or Salt and Cedar,
Yeah, I know. I've thought of all the things. It's sometimes, the action needs to follow.
Yes. Well,
maybe it just gave you a little push.
There you go. And when people start calling, like, so yeah, I heard you had Salt and Cedar, Brenda. You're like, okay, now I have to do
Not
it.
yet. But...
It's coming. So finally, what advice would you give to aspiring entrepreneurs? Because you worked for somebody.
Yeah, I did.
And then you just was like, no, I'm going to do this.
Yeah, and I think it's important to work for people and get a, you can't really do this all alone.
Right.
But the advice I would give, I think, is to ask questions. Mm-hmm. So, once again, you can't do it by yourself. Mm-hmm. And you don't always know where to find the resources. And this isn't a plug for the BEDC. But actually, if I would have known 7 years ago, that I could probably find everything in one place and have a bit of a mentor, it would have been a lot easier because I had to ask a lot of questions, and you don't always ask the right question to the right person. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And I will say a lot of people over the years have come to me to figure out how to start a website and who to go to, because I kind of, you
did everything. You kind of bootstrapped everything. You had to learn.
I did.
Yeah.
So I would say, don't be afraid to ask questions. I think that's an important thing, and maybe find some people that can, help you out.
Mm-hmm. I think that's important, because I keep going back to the thought that if you're an entrepreneur, then what you went through, because you had to figure it out, mm-hmm. right? And so I think sometimes people feel like, well, they're not going to help me, right? Because they had to figure it out. Yeah. So they're probably going to be like, you figure it out. And I have had conversations with some people that feel that way.
People. I always do, because I think, if I can save you a couple hours of researches and then making the wrong choice, which, I did at some points, mm-hmm. Like, why would you not help?
I mean, that's me too, but people are like, you're too nice. But I have this visual. I had a conversation with my dad once, and he was saying, closed hands can't receive anything. You know what I mean? So, like, you have to be open. Yep. You have to be open to receive. And then when your hands are open, you can also get, right?
Exactly. And, speaking of that, before I had the physical store, mm-hmm. Alexander Mosier, for whatever reason, I'm not even sure why, we became friendly, and when she had the store in the mall, before she opened her flagship store, she might have had the two at the same time.
Yes, I will.
She approached me to sell some of my items in her store, and mm-hmm. that gave me a little more visibility. On the products, and this was way back, so I don't even carry some of those lines now. But I mean, she was open for the collaboration mm-hmm. and to help me, mm-hmm. and I think you need to just pass that on, right?
Yeah,
it's really important, especially in a place like Bermuda. We only have
definitely is
a
important.
Small pool.
That's right.
Of people.
And the thing about it is, for me, when you think of collaboration, it's an opportunity for you as well, mm-hmm. right? Because someone may be coming into your store looking for something, and then they see something else, and they're like, oh, okay. So it makes sense to me, especially in this space where it's only so many people, there is enough for everybody, because mm-hmm. not everybody cares as much, right? About the contents, and they're like, whatever, which is the cheapest? Like,
there's those people too.
She's like, they can stay.
I mean, I'll show you what the cheapest thing is, and that's, I'm okay with that.
Yes, but I think the point I guess I'm trying to make is that there's something for everyone.
Right, there is.
And, that's why you have the choice. You can make a choice mm-hmm. to do something that you feel good about and is good for you.
Right.
Pay a little bit more maybe, or not. Or you can come over here. So there's something for everyone.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, listen, I've enjoyed this conversation. It's wonderful to hear how you got your start, and to know that you're open to collaboration, because I do think that it is important for young people who are coming up and are considering starting a business. You did it online and brick and mortar, and it's working. And so I know you don't know all the ingredients to the secret sauce, but I think it's important to understand that you're open and you're always learning and willing to help others. So I think that those are key. Good. Yes. Well, thank you so much, Andrea, for coming on.
It was nice to meet you in person. I always hear your voice on the radio.
Yeah. I'm glad that you listen. So I'm like,
I do. I'm an avid.
You and the other person. Now let me.
So you're telling me only 2 people?
No. I hope more people listen. I hope that people hear this and are inspired. That's the whole point, right? Yes. But for those who are listening, how can they find out more? What is your contact information, your Instagram?
Okay, well, our store is underneath Flanagan's. That's how I always explain it, because everyone knows where Flanagan's is.
That's right.
So we're underneath Flanagan's on 69 Front Street. And we're open Monday to Saturday, 10 to 5:30.
Okay.
And then my website is saltandcedar.bm. And my Instagram and Facebook is at saltandcedarbda.
Okay. That sounds good.
Pretty easy.
Well, thank you for minding your business with us. And remember, if you don't mind your business, who will? Thanks for tuning in to Mind Your Business with me, your host, Jamillah Lodge. Tune in next week, Thursday at 4 p.m. because if you don't mind your business, who will? Mind Your Business is brought to you by BEDC. Bermuda Business starts here.